Hey, everybody, welcome back. Another episode of the podcast for TL Performance. This is Coach Tom coming to you from Dodger Stadium. Obviously, I'm not there right now. And growing up in Philly, I'm sure my Philly friends will be cringing at the Dodger Stadium, and we love LA behind me, but that's all good. I grew up playing baseball, not being a baseball player. I was a shortstop, loved baseball. And when I was younger, I really wanted to go to the pros. And I wish I had had better coaching and better guidance because I understand kids are at a bit of a disadvantage because when they're younger, usually there's not a lot of quality coaching. And part of that is it doesn't pay, like nobody's getting paid to do it. And usually it's just the father of one of the boys. And that's what happened to me. And when I was growing up, I was a shortstop, and turns out so was the coach's son. And guess what happened to me? I didn't get to play shortstop, and I became a utility guy. And they just threw me in wherever they could because they didn't have a spot for me because the coach's son was going to start. Didn't matter how good I was, he was going to get favoritism. And then the second part of it was when you're younger, there's not a lot of guidance about thinking about how to develop your skills of the game, how to approach the game. It's kind of like just go out and do it. And maybe the father who's coaching is the only one that raised his hand. Who knows what their experience is in coaching. And so you don't get a lot of help in terms of how to approach playing in the present and also what you want to do when you're getting older. And if you're good, someone might just say to you, hey, you're good. And that's about it. Another experience that I had in that regards, this is when I was even younger and I was good. And when you're younger and you're good, they usually also make you pitch. So pitchers at the younger ages in baseball, they usually have a position and they can pitch. So they're maybe a little bit more coordinated. Maybe they're a little bigger physically at that time and they've developed a head. So they get to do these things. And I was one of the better pitchers on the team, and my coach used me all the time. And I developed severe tendonitis in my throwing shoulder, so much so that I couldn't even throw couldn't throw the baseball off. And just to give you an idea of how damaging this can be to kids when the emphasis is on winning so much at a young sport, in a young age in a sport, my coach still wanted me to try and warm up and see if I can do it. It's like, where is the logic in that? And it sucks because kids are not old enough to speak up for themselves. They can, but they still ultimately have to do what the coach says or what their parents say. And there's lots of times where that is not always in their long-term health. And I'm not saying that it's on purpose. I'm saying, once again, it's a lack of awareness because the coach probably doesn't have experience, or they're the only one that ever raised their hand. And then you have a lot of parents nowadays that are just going crazy about wanting the team to win. And that's probably not the best approach either at a young age. If you want to go on towards long-term success or pursue your sport to the highest levels, the elite levels, then winning isn't the most important thing at the early age, even though I understand the appeal to it. Develop your skills, get good, learn how to train, learn how to manage your body. And then when you physically develop, you'll be ready to excel beyond where your fellow teammates are at. But I wanted to also talk about been focusing on sports sayings. And I talked in the last podcast, I talked about drive for show, putt for dough, and how you can approach that mindset in training, even when you don't play golf. And you do the same in baseball. So in baseball, you have the saying, knock it out of the park. And that you hear that from businessmen, you hear that from all kinds of scenarios where someone is going to be tested or they're going to compete, and hitting a home run, it symbolizes winning and celebrating, running around the bases and being that hero. And there's nothing wrong with that. But if you are, for someone who is engaging in a new workout program or has been working out or training for a sport or doing anything, sometimes it's not always about hitting a home run, because winning the game is what matters, right? And sometimes that means little improvements day by day or each time you train. So if you can adopt that mindset, it's like when you're batting and you get a single and you're getting someone on base and you're just getting the rally, or you get a walk, then that can be really beneficial to the team. Home run's great, but Don't overlook the small successes and all the small contributing factors that go into your success. And those can then ultimately lead to home runs as well. So those are my thoughts. If you have any comments or questions, leave them down below in the video, or you can email me at tom@tlperformancela.com or hit me up on Instagram, coach.tomleggett, and my website. Check it out, tlperformancela.com. Talk to you next time.